and start the intro. Welcome everyone back to the Creatia Conversation, your number one nerd-ish news source on Pornhub. I am once again your host for the afternoon. Got it right this time. SCS Vince, the Pornhub Poppy, the Sultan of Bitter Swallow, Daddy Delgado. And it was so fun yesterday. We're gonna do it twice. We're running it back. I'm bringing the Will Gray from Botch Spots and Chair Shots back on Creatia Conversation. I've dubbed you the official understudy of Creatia Conversation. How do you feel about that?
We said it yesterday. I'm the honorary use for Creatia World. Like, I'm the plug and play character here. It's like, oh, we need somebody to play Dungeons and Dragons. Let's get Will. We need somebody to talk nerdish. Let's get Will. Somebody on Smacking It Raw. Will's got that. I'm that guy for you guys.
And I love it. I love it, man. I mean, it's great to be able to just sit here and just talk with you in general. But I like being able to just sit here and talk with you just about all that nerd-ish and sprinkle in some wrestling talk. You know, maybe not the run-of-the-mill recap that we usually do on both our podcasts, but this is nice. We're going to be actually talking some wrestling today. Well, we're going to go back into our forte, what we're fond of, what we're used to, you know, what we're comfortable with.
And it's video games, which always makes it like that little bit cooler.
Yeah, so much better. But to kick things off, we are actually going to start with some Netflix news. We've been covering this for a few episodes now recently. The whole Netflix password sharing rules seems like they've made a full-on update with their rules. Well, you read the article. Would you like to share a little bit of the information that's on it?
Yeah. So we're reading from the Seattle Times. All right. So Vonair Fai, he wrote a great article, talks about nearly 6 years ago, Netflix made a simple claim that love is sharing a password. But we know over the last few weeks, Netflix has kind of made that claim that they're going to be doubling down on what that means, who can share, how many people have access. And it started to cause an uproar. You and I talked about it. I think Travis and some of the other the guys and gals in Creatia Conversations touched on it when it first started to leak. But ultimately, you had Netflix backtrack on it. They were like, whoa, that was preemptive. We weren't ready. The article says that they took all of that back off their website. But what they did say was stuff they used in other countries like Chile, Costa Rica, Peru. They've experimented and used these kinds of what would it be called, like practices with password sharing. They've used these in these countries and have had success with them. One of the big ones is now they're saying that password sharing is for people who live in the same household. So this isn't going to directly affect people who live in apartment buildings and share, or college students in dorms, because you're all going to be on the same IP address. The big one is going to be people like me and you, or Travis and Ritter, or people that live hundreds of miles away who share passwords back and forth. Because what this is going to do now is start flagging certain devices, and it's going to make the users say, okay, Vince's phone is okay for my Netflix and my phone is okay for my Netflix.
Yeah.
But the PlayStation in Savannah, Georgia, not anymore. You know what I mean? So it's going to put one more layer of ownership on that account, where the people are going to have to go, these accounts are approved for my account. And then if they're not approved, they immediately get blocked. So they'll be kicked off your account completely. It closes with saying the whole thing about needing to verify your device over Wi-Fi's and people who travel a lot. Because that was something I had said to you, was that people who travel, you know, I'm in and out of town for indie shows all the time. How is that going to affect it? At first, it won't be a big deal. But if you're on the road, say you're a truck driver and you're on the road for 2 or 3 weeks at a time, bouncing from Wi-Fi to Wi-Fi to Wi-Fi, you're going to have the hassle of having to re-verify your device over and over and over again as you do this.
Exactly.
So the long and the short of it is, if you're on the same IP or in the same general like geosphere scape, however you want to look at it, in your geographic location, you'll be fine. but people who travel a lot are the ones that are going to have the headaches with this new Netflix stuff.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. I mean, me specifically, I don't do much traveling. I'm usually still here in Chicago, so it really won't affect me too much. However, if I do choose to engage on Netflix at, let's say, work, and if I don't use like my phone data, like that might be an issue there as well. So I don't know. It's not as bad as what it was initially announced. This still isn't the most ideal scenario, but I mean, I guess, right?
I also feel like the countries they chose to use as their test market, I don't feel like are good comparisons to the United States as far as one usage
Mm-hmm.
and two population centers. Like Chile is going to have one or two big cities, but it's not a metropolis or a hub like the United States where you have what 8 cities is now.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't imagine Chile's on that level, and Peru probably not either. Like, these aren't third world countries by any means, but they're not. You know, if we looked at Japan, that might be a better idea of like usage for electronics. But I feel like some of the countries they pulled here and used, I feel like they're not fair representation of usages in the United States because I can't imagine Peru and Chile having the same, data rates and usage on their data
No,
rates that America has.
no, of course not. Of course not. Well, I don't know. I guess it's to be determined, right?
It's like one of those
Well,
play it out and see things.
yeah, just kind of like have to play it out and see, test it out, kind of like a new video game. Will like
Ooh.
and like we were talking about yesterday. Well, no, actually, we didn't cover this yesterday. We talked about Breath of the Wild. We'll get to the Breath of the Wild. I'm getting ahead of myself. We're gonna talk about your uncertainty about WWE War Games, WWE 2K23, and the inclusion of War Games. You're sold of the feature with the War Games match. We're gonna be talking about some of the features within it. We had like there were some screenshots as well released in the article that were released by WWE 2K. We'll talk about some of the rosters, but why don't you tell me about your skepticism of this game? Why you're not gonna buy it day one?
I'm not going to buy it day one for the same reason I seldom buy Madden day one or the 2K series in basketball is because I feel like most of the time it's a carbon copy, roster update, some new uniforms, maybe some new legends or all-star teams added. Like, but for the most part, it's the same song and dance year over year. And I feel like 2K, and I might be a little bit ahead of myself by assuming this, but with 2K22 and now 2K23 coming out back to back, it looks like they're falling into the trend with Madden, where it's the
Yes.
same thing, carbon copied. It's going to be the same stuff with an updated roster. But the one thing that they're doing this year that makes me go, okay, this might be worth the money down the road is the inclusion of the war game stipulation and some of the features that they're adding to this one, which I think is going to be I
Yeah.
don't know if it's going to warrant a $65 game or whatever they are, but
I
it's
think
it's
it's
definitely
$70 now at this point. If we're
yeah. But it looks
yeah.
like they're adding stuff to make it worth it.
Yeah, I mean they like to talk about like the war game stuff like in the article that we read on WWE WWE2K.com. It shows that you can actually play in the little like area like in between the two rings. You can actually like interact there. It does look a little glitchy based on like what I saw, but it's still pretty cool nonetheless. And let's talk about some of the match rules. So like they actually elaborated on the match rules for the actual match mode. So how does the War Games match work? Well, they begin with two superstars in the ring while the team members are contained in separate cages at regular intervals. Alternating members of each team will be released from their respective cages and enter the match. Once all team members have been released, have entered the match, War Games officially begin. Yada yada. More or less, it's the same thing as War Games, what we came to expect. The arenas they've included is NXT Takeover War Games, Survivor Series War Games, and a My Rise specific arena. So for the My Rise mode, in terms of solo multiplayer, you can do this 3v3 match, or you do this as a 4v4 option. So that's pretty cool. So they've done that. In terms of the 3v3 option, I'm assuming you can't do three teams of three, like the original like war games that was introduced in NXT the first time around. But it is saying that it's available on offline multiplayer as well as online multiplayer, but it has to be off of the same platform. So, like, let's say you have Xbox, I have PlayStation. Unfortunately, we won't be able to co-play online unless we have the same console. But let's say you and I are playing together. You come over, we're sitting on the casting couch playing some 2K23 on my PS5. We can have up to four players for PlayStation. If we go over to your place and you have Xbox, we can go up to 6 players. Online, it's up to 8 players because that's the max with the 4v4. So I'm assuming it's either a 6-man match or an 8-man match, but it's still pretty good. It seems like they've locked in everything they can with the war game stipulation.
I like that they're adding a little bit of specialization to it and customization where you can change like the intervals and stuff. I'm curious to see if they incorporate a lot of like weapons and stuff too, because everybody loves crazy cage matches. And one of my favorite things to do in the other wrestling games is fill the ring up and put people through as many tables as possible, right? You want to be as destructive as possible. So I'm hoping that they'll incorporate a lot of that, especially in the Undisputed Era Team Ciampa match in War Games 2019, I believe. They did that. They brought out a ton of tables, and there was the huge spot with Tommaso Ciampa and Adam Cole doing the whatever his finisher is called. I can't remember now. But
Tommaso
he does it
Ciampa's?
the air raid drop. Is that what it is?
Isn't it now? Damn, that's the fairy tale ending.
No, it was the air raid drop. It's his version of the white noise. Sheamus's finish.
Gotcha.
But he did that off the top of the cage. So I'm curious to see at what level they'll let you do it. Are you going to be able to climb up to the top and jump off and be absolutely crazy nuts? Like, I'm curious to see how much detail they put into it.
Let me go ahead and get some of that curiosity out of the way for you, Will, because I am actually going to try to like share some gameplay footage with you. So
nice.
Let's see here. Let me make sure that everything's working good. Can you see it all well right here? The screenshot of like the War Games NXT Takeover War Games match. You see the cage right here. On the top, you have Sheamus and Kevin Owens. It looks like AJ Styles is in the other cage with. I can't make out the other competitor, but the graphics, like just off of that screenshot alone, look very well.
They look a lot like this year's, just kind of tuned up. Like I said, I'm not upset about the graphics. This isn't about the graphics. I think the gameplay was a lot of fun. 2K22 in the My Rise mode got kind of repetitive for me. But if you just want to get in and just have a wrestling match and beat people up, 2K22 is a great game for it.
Yeah, 100%. And let's look here. See, like I said, the match rules we have here available, and we actually have a top rope leg drop. So let's just play this real quick. So we get a little bit like of the graphics of how it's going to move in there. Well, here, I'll replay it again for you. It doesn't look much. It feels like a regular cage match.
I'm curious to see how the timing and the framework does with the two rings and playing in between the two of them. Because like you were saying before, the frame rate, those rings are going to be set up by the number of pixels, which means that area between the two rings isn't going to be a whole lot of space. It's not a lot of pixels for them to put a lot of like motion capture and stuff into, just because the limitations of what it is. So I'm curious to see how they execute that in a video game.
Yeah, and it could be very clunky because as we've seen in past games, not just WWE games in general, but we could run the risk of it not running smoothly because there's so many working characters. And then you add in the fact that there's a double-sided ring. So like that's kind of my concern. So let's take this double rope springboard. Okay, so as you can see, it looks like it might be a War Game specific move where he's springboarding onto the second rope from the other ring and then going onto the top rope from the initial ring that Seth Rollins is in.
That's cool. I think that'll be nice if they did like war game specific motion capture stuff. So
Yeah.
if you're in a war games match, there's moves specific to war games that you can do. Or if you're in a ladder match, there's moves specific that you can do in a ladder match. I think adding those things to the gameplay will be super cool. I
All
think
right.
that's a great addition.
So this is gameplay of just using the objects inside the war games.
Okay, so a lot of the same graphics as what we had in 22.
Yeah.
Okay, that's where the door is. I was like, did he just slide that just through the cage?
I
I see where
was
the door
confused
is.
too. I was confused
Yeah.
too. It looked very glitchy.
Okay, so it is. So you're going to be able to pull stuff out and then set stuff up in the ring and everything. That's cool.
All right, let's see. I think it just replayed. Oh, no.
No, he's grabbing. He got a chair. He got a table.
Okay.
He grabbed some like the general furniture out from underneath the ring. I like that. That was cool. That was one of my curiosities. Were they going to let you do that kind of stuff in it?
This is what I was talking about, like playing in between the section between the two rings. And that's my concern. Did you see the way that the ropes looked and how they were animated in between? Like it feels very like clunky to me. And
And I
that's
know
my
this
concern.
isn't real in game like live action gameplay here, but this looks almost cartoony.
Yes. And
When
that's my issue.
And if the rest of the game looked like that, it wouldn't be as noticeable. But they've done such a good job of making the rest of the game look so realistic that if you get in the war games and then it starts looking cartoony because they tried to do too much, that's my concern with it.
I understand. And that's my big concern with it too. I'm hoping that this is stuff that might be fixed out or smooth over as the game does release next month. Hopefully these are like bugs, or sometimes when they show gameplay footage, they're just eager to get it out there, and this from like the early process of the game's development. So maybe that's the thing here. So I'm still a little optimistic. I'm less pessimistic. But if it wasn't for the simple fact that John Cena is the cover star and they're doing a showcase mode based on his career, I probably would have waited for the pre-order. But I really want to pre-order, especially then you add the fact that Bad Bunny is a pre-order bonus. Like I need that game. Like I honestly need that game day one. Wait, what was that? I haven't pre-ordered the game, no. Hint, hint, wink, wink. While we're talking about the game, hint, hint, wink, wink, babies. Not you, Will. I'm talking to Melissa, my actual girlfriend.
Not your work boyfriend?
Not my work girlfriend, not my work wife, my actual wife.
You have a real life girlfriend?
Yeah. so Will, like you were saying earlier, where you were worried that the game is essentially going to be copy and paste an updated version of 2K22, where they do the same thing in Madden and NBA 2K as well. If you look at the roster here, they released this tweets. WWE 2K's official Twitter released on, I want to say leading up to Raw, if not during Raw. They were saying, which are you going to go first for your first match? And they introduced these Raw superstars. This has now been confirmed that these are actual official roster reveals, and might be how they're going to go about it going forward. Is doing during the shows, they might just be releasing, hey, like here are some SmackDown superstars. So as you can see, we have Bianca Belair on there, Asuka, Rhea Ripley, Becky Lynch, Damian Priest, Bobby Lashley, and Seth Rollins. They've already released footage of Seth Rollins' entrance, so it looks solid. Bobby Lashley's entrance, I believe, is still basically the same one as last year, and that's my issue here. Is that a lot of the entrances of these wrestlers have really felt like they're just redoing them from 2K22. This feels like an update to 2K22 or like an extension to 2K22, because Becky Lynch here, she is not the man Becky Lynch. She's still big time Bex. That's my issue.
That's what I was saying. I feel like it's just a copy and paste in a lot of ways. And we'll get updates. We got some updates in 2K22 with roster stuff. And I feel like
Yes.
this will be a growing, an ever growing thing here.
Mhm.
But initially, when you look at that list, Bianca, Oscar, Rhea, Becky, Damian, Bobby, and Seth, none of those are like, okay, great. You know what I mean? Those I could go play a match in 2K22 with all 7 of those people.
Allison
It's
has joined the chat.
hello, Al.
I felt like
I
you have to announce Allison every time she joins the chat.
she's everywhere.
Yeah, she's the boss bitch for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
100%. I just don't know, man. Like the additional war games is cool, but the additional war games and what else to make it worth it for me? Because right now I
Yes.
could go play 2K22 and get almost the exact same experience without war games is all.
All
That's
right.
all. That's
Well,
my biggest takeaway from it.
so they did announce Bad Bunny as a pre-order bonus, and he's a new wrestler character in the game. They did have a follow-up tweet the following day of new superstars joining 2K23. So we're going to look at the following tweet, and they actually announced the Bella twins are confirmed for 2K23. Kurt Angle is now confirmed because he, I guess, wasn't in 2K22.
He wasn't.
Queen Selena, Cody Rhodes, and Molly Holly. I'm I'm glad Molly Holly's in there. Cody Rhodes, obviously, we've been known that he's in there. That's not news as well. The big glaring thing for me is Queen Selena, because obviously she's no longer going by that Queen Selena moniker anymore. She is just Selena Vega, and she's blonde, and she's joined up with Legato. And this is my issue, and it's been an issue with WWE games all the time. Is the simple fact that it's kind of hard to stay up to date when all these wrestlers have gimmick changes and appearance changes and just wardrobe and entrance and theme song changes so frequently, so recently in between video game cycles. It's kind of hard to do, but even to them, like, why include Queen Selena? Just make her Selena. I don't know. This is a
I,
tough.
I
This
say
is
a lot on botch bots and share shots that the people in WWE go through the WWE identity crisis. And that is established stars that keep getting rebranded with different gimmicks until they find out what sticks. You know,
yes,
we're not cooking pasta here. We can't throw it at the wall until it sticks. Like these people have to have established careers because big time Bex. I said it on Monday night. I said it's funny how the whole time Ric Flair has beef with WWE, they switch it over to big time Bex. The moment Ric Flair and WWE start jerking each other off again, she's automatically back to being the man.
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that's
Exactly.
what
Yes.
makes it hard for these, especially the game developers. I feel bad for them because WWE goes through these identity crises every 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, where these major characters are getting changed. Thank God Seth freaking Rollins finally balanced out because I felt like there for a while going through the Monday Night Messiah to the Architect to the, he went through 3 or 4 gimmick changes in
Yeah.
a year before it
Exactly.
finally settled down. And I feel like they did that with Becky. She just one day was big time Bex, and then she shows back up on Monday Night Raw as the man. It's
Yeah.
impossible to program a video game when the main characters of that game change every
It's
60,
one
90
of those
days.
it's one of those things where you'd wish that WWE Creative had a hand in the making of these video games, or at least like hand to hand like interactions. Like they could be like, hey, by the way, Becky Lynch is going to be the man when the game releases, so make sure you have the man moniker and entrance available as an alternative or as the default going forward.
But then
But
that gets into the whole question of, will those people keep their mouth shut? Can they leak it? What do we like? And that's where you get into the
yes,
whole question of non-disclosure agreements and confidentiality clauses and
exactly.
all of that stuff. And I think it's hard for a company to say, okay, next year Becky Lynch will be the man again, when sometimes with WWE's booking, they're not sure what's going to happen at Royal or at WrestleMania, and it's 2 months away.
Exactly. Well, it's to be determined. Well, I'm gonna get it just for the simple fact that not only do they have war games, the John Cena showcase mode is enough for me to be like, okay, I'm gonna get it. For the same reason I got 2K22 last year was for the Rey Mysterio showcase mode. They are here getting two of my Mount Rushmore of wrestling wrestlers out there. Obviously, if you don't know the other two, it's Sasha Banks or Mercedes Moné and Eddie Guerrero. So those are my Mount Rushmore of pro wrestling. So obviously they're on the cover. They make a whole game mode for them. I'm going to pick up the game just because the fanatic that I am. And then they include Bad Bunny. Like that's 3 things right there. I'm sold.
They guaranteed it. They were like, Vince Delgado is definitely buying 2K.
Oh, they were making this game for me. Hands
They
down.
knew it.
They knew it. Speaking of WWE and tailor made for me, and just like stuff that I'm looking forward to as well, WWE has announced that SummerSlam is heading to Ford Field in Detroit on August 5th. This is the first time that SummerSlam has been around the Midwest area that I can recall at any point in time within my fandom since like maybe the Ruthless Aggression era, since I've had adult money to spend and travel, you know? So I wanted to run that by you, man. Like, how do you feel? What do you think about like Detroit being the spot for SummerSlam?
I'm okay with it. The article release says that it's the first time Ford Field has hosted since WrestleMania 07, and the first time that the state of Michigan has hosted a SummerSlam since 93. So SummerSlam 93, I would have been between 7 and 8 years old. It's been a minute, but my question is, I don't really think Detroit when I think of summertime.
No.
And I know they don't necessarily coincide, but when I would think SummerSlam, even Nashville was kind of a stretch. I don't think summer locale when I think Nashville, Tennessee. I don't think summer locale when I think Detroit, Michigan. Not that it has to be branded to a Miami or an LA or somewhere like that that's kind of got that beach vibe to it, but I don't know. Detroit doesn't scream summer vibes to me for some reason.
The only thing that I was kind of like looking forward to it is because Detroit's not that far of a drive from Chicago.
I'm sure it'll be a hell of a party. It'll be a great show. SummerSlam in Nashville killed. It's always arguably the second or third biggest show of the year behind Rumble and WrestleMania year over year. So it's always one of the top 3 shows. So it'll be big. Ford Field's a huge place, plenty of room for activities for the fan experience. WWE, Triple H said it after the Rumble. He said nobody does spectacle better than World Wrestling Entertainment.
That's true.
So that'll be what they'll do. They'll take the whole shebang up to Detroit, and it'll be a great show. I'm just nitpicking.
Yeah, no, it's okay to nitpick because I kind of was nitpicking last year when they announced Nashville as the location for this past SummerSlam. But it was a great location. I didn't really associate Nashville with the summer as well, but
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I feel like they've walked away from like the hardness of it all and saying, yeah, we have to pick a spot that feels summery. No, we're just gonna travel where like it's the best for us at that point in time. And like I said, Detroit it's good for me because, like I said, I can drive there. I don't have to worry about booking a flight. Like it's just a simple drive. I can either drive back home if I want to. After that, I try. Travis is like, I try not to think about Detroit at all. Same. But we'll just talk about the states of. We'll just talk about the location of SummerSlam. The location of SummerSlam this summer is close enough of a drive that I'm able and willing to go ahead and take said drive. And you know what? And you know what, Will? I'm so confident about that said drive because I know that I have the tools to make that drive and know I have the energy and fuel to survive the trip there because I will have W with me. Well, W is a clean energy drink that is made to give you focus with no crash, jitters, or angst. Let's see here. Like other energy drinks, they also have no maltodextrin fillers. They don't use artificial dyes. Like W contains vitamins, amino acids, a nootropic, and 150 milligram caffeine. The product is made in the USA in an FDA-inspected facility that strictly adheres to GMP manufacturing guidelines. W has handpicked what they believe the 10 Ty Dillinger out here celebrating 10 most critical ingredients for focus and concentration. W contains important aminos and vitamins that canned energy drinks simply just don't have. W uses Neurofactor, a patent all-natural coffee cherry extract to help fuel you. This ingredient is what gives W its laser focus and fast reflex effects, making it especially perfect for gamers or long wrestling road trips. They disclose full ingredient amounts, and the product will never contain fillers or artificial colors or dyes. W is also sugar-free, maltodextrin-free, and keto-friendly. Go to w.creatiaworld creatiaworld.com to get 10% off your order. Once again, go to w.creatiaworld.com and use the code Creatia and you'll receive the 10% off your order. So there you go. If you want to go ahead and meet me at SummerSlam, I'm not talking just about you, Will. I'm talking about all Creatia Conversations viewers, all the Chicago podcasters. Let's all get a W. Let's all meet up. Let's hang out and have a pint afterwards.
Have a W and a pint.
W and a pint. You know what is a dub, Will?
What's that?
This new Scream official trailer.
I'm hyped. You told me we were gonna. Yes.
That was released by IGN. So we're actually gonna watch that real quick because I like sharing stuff. I like watching together. I like the whole split screen experience with you. You know,
sharing is caring, Vincent.
Exactly. So let's take a look at that right now.
We're too high up. We can't get down from here. Come on! You're almost here. Find you!
Agreed, Amani. Sharing is caring.
This isn't like any other ghost face. What is this place?
It's a shrine.
Guys? We've got to lure him in.
Is that Jenna Ortega?
We execute him.
I think it is.
Oh,
It's for you.
I'm fucking sold.
Only in theaters March 10th. Tickets on sale now.
Oh, well, damn. Jenna Ortega's in there. I'm watching that day one now. I fell in love with her on her portrayal of Wednesday on the Wednesday Netflix show. It was fantastic.
I'm kind of hyped for it. They tied in enough from the original series and stuff. If Wednesday doesn't do the dance, the movie is automatically trash. Agreed. That goes without saying. But
I feel like there's going to be a parody out there of this new Scream 6 movie where Jenna Ortega does the Wednesday dance.
If she doesn't do it, if they don't somehow tie it in or make some like stupid, they have to make it obvious that they're calling back to the Wednesday show. You know what I mean? They almost have to, because she's almost as bad as Neo is now. Like, I won't even call him his real name. I'm not even going to call him Keanu. I'm going to call him Neo, because anytime you see the man, that's who you think of. He's either Neo or he's John Wick, you know, and that's how she is. She's forever going to be Wednesday Addams now. So they have to do a callback of some kind in that movie to that.
Well, my question is, when did filming for Scream 6 take place and starts? Jenna says she kicked people out of her house if they asked her to do it. She refuses.
It's funny because Allison will kick you out of the house as well if you ask her to do the Wednesday dance. She'll make you leave.
Oh, really? So they have that in common. She's your Wednesday. She's your Jenna Ortega. Okay. You know what? We were talking about sharing, right? Well,
yes.
We're saying that sharing is caring. You know,
sharing is caring.
You know what also is caring? It's sharing in the bedroom with your significant other,
that was a
your
great
partner.
One. That was a great transition.
Thank you. And you can also greatly transition in the bedroom and help your partner up, get and reach her climax, her orgasm. Just go to mycentralsecrets.com, guys. It's simple. We talk about it all the time. MyCentralSecrets.com boasts one of the largest catalogs on the web across all the varying levels of adult toy categories, with toys for him, for her, and for both. The product line is extensive compared to other competitors in the sexual wellness industry. Orders ship within 24 hours, so customers are always satisfied with both the price and quality. MyCentralSecrets.com has top-rated reviews and exceptional customer service. So go to central.creatiaworld.com to receive 10% off your order today. Once again, that is central.creatiaworld.com, and I'll leave it on the screen for all you guys so you guys can go and check out all that fun stuff. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? Like, it all ties in. It all ties in.
All that fun stuff, because it is indeed fun stuff.
Are you do going back to the Scream movie, do you think that's gonna be all fun stuff, even if they don't include the Jenny Ortega Wednesday dance?
I think it'll be fun. I
Yeah.
think Scream is one of those movie series now that every one from here on out is going to be uh, a continuation or a cash grab for the series itself. We saw the rebirth of it a few years ago when they remade it, and we see it now with Scream 6, the continuation of the story. I think it's turning into a Fast and the Furious style franchise where they're going to
Yes.
continue like branching the story out with all the characters they've introduced through the canon, and they're just going to continue to make them, which isn't necessarily bad as long as they're good movies. If they keep doing it, I feel like the Fast franchise is the example of where they just kind of milked that cow dry.
Yes.
They're running out of stories that make sense. As long as Scream keeps it fresh and doesn't fall into that pattern, I think it'll be okay.
Listen, man, don't get me started on the Fast franchise, because last time Mara and Travis were trying to like share a teaser trailer for Fast X, and it was literally just a character bio for like, I think like Brian or Dom or something, like of past like Fast movies, and it had nothing of the new movie. And I almost got sucked in by the same thing thanks to IGN. God damn that IGN website. Because I went in there and they had another teaser trailer, brand spanking new, said it was exclusively for IGN, teaser trailer of Fast X, and it had Dom in there. But then I saw Brian was in there too. I'm like, no, this is fake. I will not get sucked into the same madness that did Travis and Mara in.
I'm not convinced at this point that with all the new Fast and the Furious movies, they're not actually filming new movies. They're just taking deleted scenes from old ones and just piecing them together in a way that almost makes it look like it makes sense. That's what they're doing now. They're not even filming new movies. They've just got so much B-reel footage from the other 30 in the franchise. They're just Legoing them together as they go.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see about Fast X. And we'll see about Scream 6. But that trailer, now the fact that Jenna Ortega's in there, I'm like, yeah, I'll watch it.
I'm sold. I'll watch it. 100% I'll see it.
Plus, out of all the horror franchises, Scream is one of the ones that I guess like I'm more fond of, and it has nothing to do with the fact that Scary Movie 1 or like spoofed it basically. So we'll see.
I liked Scream because it was that coming of age horror movie. I was like at the age where it was, like a cool horror movie came out when I was at the age to appreciate cool horror movies. And because I was just a little too young for the original releases for Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street and some of that stuff. But Scream was like made for my generation.
Yeah. Correction, that was Mara and Matt that they had that whole little Fast X IGN situation. But you know what? We're talking about Fast X and how they taking bits and pieces from the previous movies and trying to hype some stuff up. Well, DC's newest Flash movie has some of that aspect where they're bringing characters from other franchises into the movie. But unfortunately, DC has removed 2 more superheroes from the Flash movie ending, which the ending is the crucial point because that's what's supposed to quote unquote reset the DCU. So like I mentioned, the Flash's ending is one of the highly talked about moments as it will reportedly reset the DC universe. And in the new reports, that this is coming from the direct.com. The new report doubled down on that claim by revealing that 2 more superheroes were removed before the credits will roll. DC Studios head James Gunn previously said that the Flash would reset many things, but not all things, indicated that some characters from the DCEU will continue to be part of the DCU. God, it's so hard to keep up with what's DC going to be called nowadays. It's unknown which characters will stay, but many believe that the original plan is to retain Michael Keaton's Batman and Sasha Cale's Supergirl. However, this claim received a major blow when it was revealed that Keaton's appearance in Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom was scrapped. So he's no longer going to show up in Aquaman 2. As per Entertainment Scoop, Grace Randolph and the Raps Humberto Gonzalez, the Flash, under the instructions of DC Studios co-CEO James Gunn, reportedly stripped out Sasha Cale's Supergirl and Michael Keaton's Batman in its ending. So that's kind of like a big blow right there, because those are two characters that people were looking forward to in the movie, and it looks like they're no longer going to be in the equation. What are your thoughts there?
I'm low-key kind of hyped about this. I read a report a few days ago, and I'll find the article and I'll send it to Travis, so that way we can have it. But James Gunn said that what he's looking to do with DC now is to go in, and he literally in the interview said he's going to right the wrongs of the last 10 years. He's planning to go in here and strip this down and make it the true competitor to Marvel that DC should have been from the get-go.
Yes.
James Gunn's had super great successes in the Marvel Cinematic Universe in the MCU. So him becoming the head guy, the head dude in charge for the DCU now is going to be epic, because he's seen the successes that Marvel has had. He's been part with the Russo brothers, and he's been on the production staffs, plus the huge successes of Guardians of the Galaxy. We could go forever about the stuff he's done in Marvel, but now what we do is, this is like if somebody from WWE were to leave WWE and then go to AEW.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's kind of what happened here. You've got one of the biggest brains in the MCU who now went to the biggest competitor and goes, now we're going to carbon copy and paste this equation of success, but using our brand of characters. So I'm hyped for it. The direction he's going to go with some of the biggest superstars in the comic book market, Wonder Woman, Batgirl, Batman, all of the people that you just rattled off, they're leaning towards rebranding completely for this new phase of DC movies. So there's really no telling what we're going to get.
Yeah, I mean, well, we know what's slated for this first initial phase and what's going to like immediately follow the Flash. Obviously, they talked about Blue Beetle and Aquaman 2, and then they're going to go into like the gods and monsters first phase of it all, where it introduced Superman, the new Batman with Damian Wayne and stuff. So it has interesting things. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm not looking forward to this specific Flash movie, given all the controversy surrounding Ezra Miller. Like, they're doing what they're doing. The fact that it doesn't seem to be a clear point whether or not Ezra Miller will continue to play the Flash in the DCU going forward, it kind of has me a little bit iffy about it. I think the first DC movie I'm gonna watch in this new James Gunn era of DC is gonna be the Blue Beetle movie, for obvious reasons. Jaime Reyes, Latino representation, and he's actually, if I were to build my own Avengers or Justice League of superheroes, Blue Beetle would be in there for sure. Blue Beetle would be in there for sure. But
really?
Yeah, Blue Beetle. I mean, it's representation, and I think like just the Blue Beetle costume as an aesthetic of it all is just very fucking cool. He's basically kind of like Iron Man, but instead of being like a robotic, like man-made suit, this is an alien, like what are they called again? Like, not a parasite. It's trying to think what it's called. Like I'm drawing a blank. The scarab. It's an alien scarab that attached to his spinal cord, and it's basically one with him. He basically has like this evil AI in his brain trying to control him from like killing people when he could kill people. So, but he's doing like the honorable superhero thing and saying no kill code.
Okay.
But, yeah. So that's kind of where I like it. And then obviously, like just watching him in animation. I've mentioned this previously. Him being included in Young Justice and also being included in like the DC animated films really made me fall in love with the Jaime character. So yeah, I'm invested. But
that might just be the lack of knowledge on my side of the DCU.
Correct. It's almost like the Venom symbiote. It's the same like relationship dynamic. So, Will, you mentioned Marvel as the big competitor. Well, we actually have some Marvel Cinematic Universe news, per se. So, Icons Unearthed has been renewed for a 4th season, and they are focusing their 4th season on the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So, the Nacelle Company, hold up, I got an ad that's blocking here. The Nacelle Company's Icons Unearthed series is about to turn its attention towards the Marvel Cinematic Universe, comicbook.com can exclusively reveal that Vice TV, this is a Vice TV exclusive show, by the way, has ordered a new season of the documentary anthology series titled Icons on Earth Marvel. The series, which previously covered the Star Wars franchise, they covered the Fast and Furious franchise, which we talked about, and they also covered The Simpsons in their first 3 seasons. First season was Star Wars, second season was The Simpsons, third season was Fast and Furious franchise, and now Marvel is getting that nod. Let's see here. Where did I leave off? Some of the biggest franchises in the entertainment world will dig into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The new series premieres March 7th on Vice TV with Brian Volk-Weiss as the director's chair. Icons on Earth Marvel will feature exclusive interviews with talent from Hollywood and the world of comics, including Clark Gregg, Todd McFarlane, J. Michael Stazerski. I'm sorry if I butchered your name, bro. Charlie Wen, Margaret Lois. I'm terrible at these things. I'm just gonna stop. The credits are there. We'll share the link or something. So it's an anthology series where they're covering the Marvel Cinematic Universe, behind some scenes stuff. I am actually not aware of this show prior to this article being released because I saw Marvel News and I obviously latched onto it. But it covers The Simpsons and it covers the Fast franchise, and I like documentary and like anthology series similar to the like Vice's TV's famous Behind the Ring, like Dark Side of the Ring, franchise. So anything of the sort, I'm invested in. What did you think when I sent this to you and I showed this about you and you just read up more about the show?
You know me. I immediately hit the link, opened it up. I went through. Not super familiar with the Unearthed series, but the few clips that I watched, it's going to be really similar in production style and quality of what, like, say, your Dark Side of the Ring, Dark Side of the 90s, Dark Side of the NFL, a lot of these Vice style shows. This is what it falls into routine for, and I love it. The deep-sided history of The Simpsons, learning about what they did, the animation styles, how it evolved, the production styles, how they write it. Like, it's like a deep dive into the series. Star Wars, Fast, Simpsons, and now they're going to do the MCU. And with the 5 films in the MCU, not counting the TV shows and all of that, there's so much content here. They're going to have trouble fitting it all into one season. Just Iron Man alone, the 4 or 5 movies plus the Avengers and everything that he did, like that could fill a whole series. And then you incorporate everybody else's characters into it. Big hyped for Todd McFarlane from the Spawn series. He wrote and did a lot of that dark side of the comic book stuff. And then Lou Ferrigno is the original Incredible Hulk. So I think it's cool that they're bringing back some of the classics from like the original TV show days and stuff.
Yeah, and it's not just like recent MCU stuff. It's actually just like the Marvel Cinematic like franchise in general.
Some of the names on this list are actors and actresses that came from, the 70s and 80s when they were, the slapstick, Adam West style Batman shows. You know what I mean? Like that's very much who Lou Ferrigno was as the Incredible Hulk. He was, a big meaty guy slapping meat, but they spray painted in green with big green hands on his. You know what I'm talking about? Like, that's what the original Hulk was. And so it's going to be cool to kind of get their spin on it, the evolution of where it started in the 60s, 70s, and 80s to where they are now in 2023 going into, Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania with the start of a whole new phase.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I love documentary anthology series like this, the behind the scenes stuff. One of my favorite episodes of The Simpsons is actually when they do behind the, like they do it like a spoof of Behind the Music, and it's like behind like The Simpsons, and they treat them like as if they were like TV characters, like we know them, but like within the Simpsons universe. I thought that was fantastic. I thought that was great, and I'm looking forward to see it. It starts next month, March 7th. I'm gonna check to see if I have Vice TV available with my YouTube TV. If not, I'm gonna look into how to get Vice. If not, hopefully it's on their YouTube channel, because that's how I watch my Dark Side of the Ring, is I go to their YouTube.
Dark Side of the Ring, Tales from the Territories, now this, and Vice is picking up. They're in the talks. They have a spot open for a wrestling deal. So literally, if they assign a wrestling company to do a weekly TV show, Vice will be literally Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Like they're getting a solid lineup. and they're embracing that kind of like counterculture vibe with it. They're not going down the mainstream media. They're going down the beaten, the unbeaten path and the unwalked path. What I think is very cool in 2023, because you don't see a lot of people going against the grain anymore like this.
100%. It's cool to see. It's fascinating, and you like the diversity of it all, like a different take on everything. So
yeah,
it's fun. It's fun, man. I'm looking forward to it. And you know what's fun that you've been looking forward to for a while now, Ashley? And that was Legends of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Unfortunately, there's some controversy here. We just talked about it yesterday, and I love that this just recently came up. So there's concern and speculation that it might run you $70 to purchase the new game. So first, before we get into like the details in the article by from GameSpot, what were your first thoughts when you saw that statement? $70 for Legend of Zelda?
I don't give a shit. I'd pay $100 for that game. That's how good Breath of the Wild was. Breath of the Wild was so good. There was so much to do. There's so much going on in that game. If they look at me and they go, okay, this game is Breath of the Wild plus another 50%, plus another 30% of your side quests and your missions, plus they add another 5 hours of gameplay for the main quest. Yes, take my money. I'll pay $70. This will be a day one release. I'll buy this the day it comes out.
All right. We'll get into the details then. See if that doesn't steer others away. By the way, shout out to Dr. Matt Studio. He was greetings all the way from Britain. So how's it going, my man? Nice to see you in the chat. Thank you for joining.
From the States.
I saw him on the chat last week as well with Mara and Travis. So that was really cool while they were talking Sims and other stuff on Creatia Conversation. So it's great to see a returning chat guy. The Nintendo Switch eShop, briefly listed the Breath of the Wild sequel for $70 ahead of today's Nintendo Direct. Ahead of today's Nintendo Direct, we may have learned something new about The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Yesterday evening, the Nintendo Switch eShop showed a $69.99 price for the highly anticipated sequel. The price has since been removed from the eShop, but that doesn't necessarily mean it was an error. Not long after the $70 price point circulated on social media, every major retailer stopped taking pre-orders for Tears of the Kingdom. The game had been available for pre-order for $60 since last summer, so retailers may have wanted to stop the flood of orders at that lower price ahead of the potential announcement during today's Nintendo Direct. It's also worth noting that Amazon is no longer taking Metroid Prime 4 pre-orders, which is rather significant considering the long-awaited sequel has been available for pre-order for nearly 5 years at the $60 price point. And that caused a bit of an uproar in the Twitterverse on the Nintendo community, because so many were like, there's no way that I'm paying $70 for a Nintendo Switch game. There's no way you can charge that for what the Nintendo Switch offers currently as it stands. Me personally, I can enjoy a good Legend of Zelda game because you know what you're getting. You're jumping into a world. It's familiar territory, similar to the Pokemon and Mario franchises.
Bingo! It's what we talked about yesterday.
Exactly. Continuity, man. Continuity.
That's how you long-term storytelling.
Exactly. So there's that aspect of it all, but I don't think I'm invested enough to pay $70. If it were a $60 game, I'm like, maybe I'll get it at some point down the line. But my stance with Tears of the Kingdom is the same stance you have with WWE 2K23. It's just we have it for different reasons. You've obviously experienced Breath of the Wild and we're so hooked on it that you want to follow up on the sequel. Me, I haven't really fell in love with the WWE game since or been satisfied with the WWE game since 2K19 and skipped 2K20, and obviously we never got one in 2021. Maybe 2K23 might be the full complete version of 2K22 and what it's supposed to be, and afterwards we'll get better installments. But they've included enough to get me hooked. Yeah. And obviously they've included enough to get you hooked.
That's why we don't yuck any yums, is because you would gladly pay $65 or $70 for an Xbox game, and I would gladly pay $70 for a Switch game because, it's what rocks each one of our jollies.
Yeah, exactly. Got Dr. Matt Studios in the chat saying, how's everyone doing? He said he just finished a little pet project of his, although his friend Terry Cooper, also known as Terry on Tuesdays on YouTube, is more of a pro making that stuff than he is. Not sure what project he has. By the way, Allison says she'll wait till 2K23 is half price. I'm with you. I'm with you. But I'm curious to know what this little pet project of his has been. But, well, speaking of pets, you know what's a common popular pet to have in the household for most Americans? It's a
Man's best friend.
man's best friend, a dog. You know where you can help get stuff for your dog, your furry friend, is dog.com. Dog.com is your online dog supplies shopping. Your online dog supplies shopping and information destination. Everything your dog needs, from toys to treats and food, is available, including collars and leashes. They even have outdoor gear and water safety gear for your furry friend. So go to dog.creatiaworld.com and you'll receive 64% off your order today. Today, Will. That again, that is dog.creatiaworld.com. That's 64%. That's a lot of percentages there. That's over 50%.
That's a lot of percentage points.
Yeah, we'll leave the link. We'll leave like the comment down below. We'll leave it below so you guys can see it down there. Dog.creatiaworld.com. Usually we highly tout the 10%, but 64%. That's even better. Can't ask for much more than that. Well, I think we're almost done. If I'm not mistaken, we have one more thing to cover, and we have actual gameplay footage. We talk about skepticism from WWE 2K and Tears of the Kingdom. We're actually going to get some footage here. Are you a Star Wars fan at all? Like where would you rank your fandom?
Star Wars over Star Trek, 100%.
Okay.
The original trilogy, episodes 4, 5, and 6 were the best of the 9 films. I didn't think that the prequel trilogy, episodes 1, 2, and 3. I didn't think they were that bad.
All right.
I liked them. Yeah. I liked them. I'm a Star Wars guy. I liked all 9 films. I thought they were good. I've seen Rogue One and I've seen all of it. So when you sent me this link, I didn't watch the trailer because I wanted to watch it with you live.
Oh, perfect.
So, I'm pretty hyped for this.
Yeah. Before we get into the trailer, let me just acknowledge Dr. Matt Studio again. Not long ago, he bought a prop replica of the Black Queen virus from Etsy from the Star Wars Legends novel Death Troopers. Basically, it turns anyone into zombies. You might not be my best friend anymore. What did you say or do that caused this?
I don't know. What did I say?
Well, while war's over track.
That was it. Nobody's perfect, Travis. Nobody's perfect.
That was the one. This was the red flag we were waiting for. We got it. So
Travis
let's watch
too
this
good to be true.
Let's watch this trailer. There's 9 minutes of actual gameplay footage. We won't watch the full 9 minutes, but we'll watch like a good 5 minutes of the video. Let's get into it.
Star Wars Jedi Survivor is February's IGN first, and to kick it all off, we're introducing you to the world of Kobo, a brand new planet that Cal Kestis crash lands on early in the game after a secret mission he's involved with goes awry. Enjoy this look at 9 minutes of gameplay on Kobo, and be sure to check IGN all throughout the month of February for much more Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
Okay.
You still have a money.
Mine
Good.
get closer
I'll
look.
take money.
I think you're upgrading. I'm fairly certain.
That is one big beast.
Oh shit, this looks cool. The
We have our
graphics are
target.
fantastic.
Now let's reach it.
It's like a blend of Destiny and Fallout, sort of.
Yeah, let me lower the volume so we can hear each other, so we can do our director's commentary on it.
Last time I saw a Lucre Hulk was Braca. Long time ago. Prof.
Did you play a lot of like Uncharted and Assassin's Creed and that stuff? We talked about some of it yesterday.
I played some of the Assassin's Creed. I can't remember which ones I played, but I never actually owned Uncharted or Assassin's Creed. It was always playing on one of my friends' console. I played a little bit of Uncharted 4, and that's about all the experience I've had for Uncharted. I played Fallout as well. Let's give me some Fallout vibes, which I enjoy.
The Force Awakens, but with a fresh coat of paint and graphics.
Ooh, this is very cool, man.
I like the combat sequences of it.
Yes.
I tried to build my own droid once. Fascinating.
So is it going to be an RPG?
It looks that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, Star Wars Jedi Survivor does look to be an RPG game. I'm perfectly okay with it. I'm not sure. Like, I'm blindly reacting to the gameplay. I never looked into the Star Wars game as well. Just because
cool.
I never watched the franchise as well. I like going into it with unbiased, unfiltered eyes in mind.
So the different uses of the different lightsabers. So obviously there's going to be some customization
Oh, this
there.
is cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool. That gave me Nightwing vibes when he takes his staff and then separates them into his batons.
Okay, so you're not just fighting bad guys. You got to fight big meaty monsters too.
Yeah, big meaty monsters.
I like being able to manipulate the environment, being able to pick stuff up.
That's the cool thing. Like, there's a lot of variety of what you can do.
You're no joke.
Ooh. I think the last role-playing game that I played is Spider-Man.
The Amazing Spider-Man, like the
Please let me go.
or the Spider-Man that just came out, like the
Spider-Man.
Miles Morales Spider-Man.
Call it in. Another one down. Raven. On the offensive.
Am I just gonna run around smashing a bunch of buttons when I play this game? Probably.
I know I will. I know.
Especially for the first few times I play it, I'll just hit a bunch of buttons.
All right. Well, hey. So let's see here. How much are we into this? Okay, we're about the 5-minute mark. We can cut it there. I thought that was a perfect way because it was at the end of the fight sequence in that specific part there. And if you guys want to watch the rest of the 9-minute gameplay, it's available on IGN's website. But Travis telling me right here to check Slack. 15 minutes ago, Netflix just announced something on the update on the sharing.
Yeah.
On their personal website. So this is an official statement. So it says, we've always made it easy for people who live together to share their Netflix account with features like profiles and multiple streams. While these have been hugely popular, they've also created confusion about when and how you can share Netflix. Today, over 100 million households are sharing accounts, impacting our ability to invest in a great new TV and films. So over the last year, we've been exploring different approaches to address this issue in Latin America, and we're now ready to roll them out more broadly in the coming months. Sharing today in Canada, New Zealand, Portugal, and Spain, our focus has been on giving members greater control over who can access their account. And then now we have some bullet points here as well. Set primary location will help members set this up, ensuring that anyone who lives in their household can use their Netflix account. Okay, that makes sense. Manage account access and devices. Members can now easily manage who has access to their account from new manage access and device page. So looks like there's gonna be a page where like certain devices are, yes, you can use this, similar to like logins for like accounts. They like, let's say for like if you go on Instagram, it'll have like devices that are registered as like save this device as future access for the account. They have a transfer profile feature. People using an account can now easily transfer a profile to a new account, which they pay for, keeping their personalized recommendations, viewing history, my list, save games, and more. So, yeah, he sent it to you as well, it looks like. He's also, so this kind of goes on to what they were trying to do when they were trying to get people to like get their own Netflix. This is kind of incentivizing them to be like, hey, well, if you get your own personal Netflix, you're going to be able to transfer over. So you don't have to worry about like having to reset your personal likes, your list, and what you've been watching. All that that's on that profile will transfer over as well. So that I think is a good thing. One of the things that you were concerned about, watching while you travel. Members can still easily watch Netflix on their personal devices or log into a new TV, like at a hotel or holiday rental. So it looks like as long as you're using the device that's registered, you'll be okay. So like if you go on your road trips or whatever, as long as you're using that device. You're going to have to register a new device if you go and watch somewhere else, but that's about it. Buy an extra member. Members on our standard or premium plan in many countries, including Canada, New Zealand, Portugal, and Spain, can add an extra member sub account for up to 2 people they don't live with, each with a profile, personalized recommendations, login, and password for an extra $7.99 Canadian dollars a month per person in Canada. New Zealand is $7.99 as well. Euro is $3.99 in Portugal, and Euro $5.99 in Spain. We value our members and recognize they have many entertainment choices, and Netflix account is indeed for one household, and members can choose from a range of plans with different features. As always, we'll refine these new features based on member feedbacks so we can continue to improve Netflix in the years ahead. And okay, so they show a graph. I don't have the graph on the screen, so I can't share with everyone here, but the plan features are as such. The resolution with the basic with ads, you get one simultaneous stream, 5 number of profiles, and 720p HD quality. With the basic, again, one stream. Yeah, it's the same thing. Basic with ads and basic without ads, you get the same quality, same amount. Number of downloaded devices, you're just able to do that there. Oh, you shared it on here. Look at you.
Yeah, I got it for you. The big takeaway here also is the basic with ads basic. You're not even going to get 1080p. You're going to get 720p on those price points. So
Yeah.
they're really like, and this might be me looking, and like I said, I've been a very nitpicky day today.
Oh,
But
yes.
this is me nitpicking. Like if they're ultimately saying if you don't pay for the standard or premium edition, you're going to get a lesser video quality.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to make you pay for ads. You know what I mean? Or like you're going to get all the ads. You can't download your shows to your devices. Like they're bottlenecking you to spending the money on the standard and premium editions.
Yes.
And if they're successful, and this goes once again to the argument I made before at the beginning of the episode, Chile, Peru, none of these countries have the same populous centers the way the US did. However, Canada, New Zealand, Portugal, Spain, these places do. So
Yeah.
if this goes well there, this is something that we could really see in the near future for the US is going to be spitting it over here onto us and looking at it from here. You know, you can download your shows on 6 different devices. That's great. But you're 4 tiers ahead over their basic ads. So
Yes.
what is the price difference going to be to basic, to standard, to premium? And then when you want to add people, if it's $7.99 a month there, that means it's probably going to be comparable here. It'll be $6, $7, $8 to add a person to your account.
Yeah, that's the thing. And I don't know. I don't think there's enough on there on Netflix to warrant you want to like spend that money. Similar to our skepticism with WWE and Tears of a Kingdom. There's reasons for you to be skeptical and kind of like wait and see and play it out. So I think that's where we're going to stand with it. I mean, they've made their official statement, and I think that's kind of cool that we were doing the show, and while we did the show, we got the news updated. We started with Netflix
action.
Started with Netflix and we ended it with Netflix. Will, I think this is the perfect time to wrap things up. All nicely needed in the bow.
That's right there. That's how you do booking for a show, ladies and gentlemen. You kind of start at the beginning, you preface what's going to happen, you touch base on it through the episode, and then you end. See, primo. Will and Vince, we're the best thing to happen right now. We're it.
Yeah, exactly. So, and thank you to everyone that was watching us live on twitch.tv/Creatia World. If you're watching this on the replay, that's where you can watch the live stream. So you can go ahead and give us a follow there. If you're subscribed, if you have an Amazon Prime, you get a free subscription. So you go ahead and subscribe to Creatia World. Go ahead and give us those free subscriptions, free dollars our way. If you do want to catch us on YouTube, we are located on youtube.com/Creatia World. You can go to the live tab on our YouTube page where you can watch the past live streams as well. But if you want to get a little bit more raunchy with it, we're also available on Pornhub/models/CreatiaWorld.com. That's why we are dubbed the #1 nerdish news source on Pornhub and most things on Pornhub. If you like what we do here, you want to help contribute to the show, we think it'd be great if you just donate at least $1 our way. If you donate $1, you get access to the paywall content such as Multiverse with Mara, the Shard Watkins, and Lord Custolad Travis Pointer, as well as Return to Wrestling with Travis and Matt Ritter. You can see guest hosts like Will, who's showed up on Return to Wrestling. He may even show up on Multiverse if they talk about Marvel or some other stuff. So go ahead and check that out. You can find everything. The links for everything are in our bios at Linktree/Creatia World. And you want to find those bios, they're on Instagram and Twitter at It's Creatia World. We're also available on Facebook.com/Creatia World. So many different places, but the main source is CreatiaWorld.com. Go there. You can find all our character bios, all the links for everything. They're all there. And we greatly appreciate to everyone that just came in here and just joined the chat. Will, plug yourself, my man.
I am Will Gray, the Will Gray. I am the host and lead writer of Botchbots and Chair Shots at botchbotsandchairshots.com. You can find us anywhere you do anything on the internet. We're a two-man show. The Hova to my Beyonce, the Bonnie to my Clyde, the boss bitch Miss Allison Siegel is also online at justagirl918. Travis, my favorite drink is an old-fashioned, and I'm a Slytherin, but you already knew that. So we can just start working on the rest of my Creatia World profile later.
Hey, you know what? I like a good old fashioned. My go-to drink right now, my favorite drink, has changed to a Jack and Coke.
Nothing wrong with it. I'm a whiskey guy. I'm gonna get a whiskey or bourbon 9 times out of 10 with what if I'm gonna order a cocktail at a bar or a lounge, it's gonna have whiskey guy
too. I'm a whiskey guy too. Like I like if my usual thing is I like a Jack and Coke. That's my easy go-to, but I like to see if they have an old fashioned, because if they have an old fashioned, that's what I'll get.
And they're special. Everybody does it just a little bit different. It's like fried chicken. Everybody can fry chicken, but everybody does it their way. That makes it a little bit different. Old fashions are the same way, man. Just a little bit of a tweak makes a big difference with the drink.
Yeah, and we do things our way here on Creatia World and Creatia Comics, and anywhere else we do podcasting. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at SCSVince. The link tree in my bio will take you to everything Straight Talk, Smack and Raw, Creatia World. If you're tuned into Smack and Raw, we're available every Friday night, 11 p.m. Central Standard Time, midnight Eastern Standard Time, where we talk about wrestling in our own unique way, because we are the #1 wrestling podcast on Pornhub. I won't be there, but Will, you'll be there as well.
Yes.
I was on recently on Get Your Podcast, so go ahead and check out Get Your Podcast. Go check out Straight Talk. We talk basketball there. I have been the Pornhub Poppy, Daddy Delgado, Sultan Spirit Swallow, the host this afternoon. For my co-host and myself, we'll bid you adieu and catch you guys tomorrow for some more Creatia Conversation. Later, y'all.